Hey, it's Mosey the Must See, and we need to talk about that Cowboys game. All right, so yesterday the Jaguars and the Cowboys played each other. We got our return back to football preseason game. I absolutely love preseason because we get to see those people who we probably won't see on Sunday, but some of them can develop into really good players. So I always like to see some evaluation on them. We'll see plenty of the ones and twos when the season starts. So we lost 28 to 23, and I'm not worried about that. It's preseason. I don't care. All I care about is what we got out of our players, and that we absolutely won. I think the Cowboys had a great day yesterday. There was things that I needed to see, and I believe that we saw them. Starting with Deuce Vaughn. People love the guy. He's small. He's tiny. And he has this chip on his shoulder, and that's what I got to see yesterday. And I've been wanting to see because everybody's been counting him out his whole life, and he was like, I've been this height. I've always been this height. I've been successful. And yesterday we got to see him. He has that chip on his shoulder. His side-to-side movement, that agility is amazing. His speed is good. Oh, the explosion. Every time he touches the ball, you just feel like something's going to happen. And so I was really excited to get to see him play yesterday. The other person I really wanted to see was Ferguson. I told a lot of people that I was okay with the Mozzie Smith pick because I felt we were solid at tight end. A lot of people wanted tight end. They wanted Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid. I didn't feel we needed that. I felt we were good with Ferguson. A lot of players, a lot of analysts had came out and talked about Ferguson and said that he has what you need to be a starting tight end. It's all about him unlocking that ability and doing it. And yesterday we got to see that. He ran some short routes, got some catches there, and then they threw that one. It was in the middle, kind of on the middle on the side. But he had a beautiful play on it, ball in the air, and if we can get that from him throughout the year, I'm happy with that. Another person who I was really happy about, and I know the rest of Cowboy Nation was watching for, is Jalen Tolbert. We were excited about him last year. We were wanting to know what the kid was going to do, especially with us losing Amari Cooper. We needed more weapons, and he didn't do anything for us. So we didn't get to see anything out of him. So I was really wanting to see him yesterday to see what he was going to do, and we got to see him, and he has leaps and bounds better from what I saw last year. I know it's just one preseason game, but there's two more, and I'm hoping that he continues that path because right now we have three solid guys. Well, we technically only have two solid guys. CeeDee Lamb's very solid. Brandon Cooks, people can say what they want about him, but he's produced with quarterbacks that aren't any good. He was pretty good for Houston last year, and Houston had Mills as a quarterback. So I'm excited about Cooks. Michael Gallup, he's taken a step back from the injury, but that's a common thing. Your first year back, you're still a little bit afraid. There's a lot of issues with that. So this year, I'm hoping that he can take that next step. So I believe we have three solid receivers right there. But then one of the things that is new that I'm excited about is the next three receivers after that. They're all athletes. And I've complained that the Cowboys is one of the slowest teams. But now it seems that we're getting these athletes in. But not only are they athletes, they're dogs, they're weight room warriors, they're just the total, they're packages. We have we have Turpin, we have Tolbert. Both of those are very fast people. Another one I saw yesterday, and I know he flies under the radar because he didn't have any highlight plays. And if you look in the stats, he isn't in there. But that kid Brooks, extremely fast. He kept getting underthrown a lot. He's not strong off the line. He got rerouted when he got press coverage. But if he can get off the line, kid is very fast. So that was some things I was happy to see. Now the one that we really need to talk about, a guy that I was a big fan of. A lot of you are following me due to that video where I said the Cowboys must draft Mozzie Smith. A lot of people equate a first-round defensive tackle. You start thinking about Aaron Donald, and that's what you want to see from him. But not everybody is that, and I've stated that this is not some pass rushing kid. He's not going to run down the quarterbacks. That's not his job. What his job is to eat up the middle and make sure that the run plays, they can't just do whatever they want. And then on passing downs, you need somebody who, if you're going to run, if you're going to put me in a one-on-one, I'm going to shove this lineman into your quarterback and ruin the pocket. So you're going to have to double team me, and that's going to allow Lawrence, Micah Parsons, if they want to blitz Clark, Leighton Vander Esch, or Odigizua from the other side. All of these guys get one-on-ones, and those are all tough people to block one-on-one. So that's a very big thing to remind you of. He is meant to eat blocks, and I saw that yesterday. The very first play, they tried to run a one-on-one with Mozzie, and Mozzie just took control of the guy, which is extremely impressive because he's a rookie. I always say that you have to give rookie linemen time, because that's a man's game. That's men versus men, dudes who have been lifting and eating for 10 years, as pros in there, and you're this young guy. And we've hit with two of them. Tyler Smith, yeah, he has the penalties issue, but he's going to get better than that. His technique is going to get better. He's going to get smarter. And you got to remember, he's going to just keep growing. So we hit with him already last year. Mozzie Smith, watching him play yesterday, the kid is already a man. The kid is a man. He's handling these grown dudes. And reminder that the Jags had their first team in there. They didn't have their backups. They had Trevor Lawrence, ETN, starting lineman. He was going up against a starting lineman. That is a good thing. And he got doubled every play. That first play, he got a one-on-one, but after that, he got doubled every play, and that made me happy to see. Why? Because not only was he getting doubled, but he wasn't getting bullied. Every time he got doubled, he sat in the pocket, he held his pace, he wasn't moving. That allows DeMarcus Lawrence, you got DeMarcus Lawrence on one side, Parsons on the other, and you're having to use two people for Mozzie. You got to think about that. Then our DBs, that was another one who did good yesterday, Deron Bland. I like the way Deron Bland looked. So our DBs, we have Diggs, Gilmore, Bland. Like, you just got to think about how all of this lines up, how all this matches up with a guy like Mozzie eating a double block. And then we have Hankins, because I believe Hankins is the starter and Mozzie's coming off the bench, which means those two can just run a rotation. That is tough to deal with. That is a problem for teams. You don't want to have to double the nose guard, but these two dudes will mess up a pocket. And when you've got Lawrence and Parsons coming off the edge, the last thing you need is a collapsed pocket. So I thought he did great. I might do a film breakdown on Mozzie Smith, just looking at that. But he did great with the double teams. He held his own. He did things that I was expecting to see and wanted to see, and we got to see it. Speaking of the defense, that defense was impressive to me. I don't care what anybody says, because you have to remember that was their starters. The Jags I consider them, I think the Jags are going to the playoffs this year. I believe the Jags are. I need to kind of look at some things before I can say that, but I believe the Jags can go to the playoffs this year. The Jags have a good offense. They picked it up last year. That's a good offense. They went up against our backups. The only ones who I remember seeing in there was Clark. Clark is slated as a starting linebacker next to LVE. And Bland. Bland is our starting nickelback corner, which is a number 3 corner. So that was our starters. So I think the ones ran 4 or 5 series and only scored on one series. That's very impressive for our number 2s. Overshown looked great, flying around. That's what I wanted to see from him. And you have to remember that with us seeing that he's not a starting linebacker. So to have that waiting in the back, our guys get tired. You got this guy who's ready to come in and start flying around. I'm happy to see that. There was a lot of things that I was impressed with. All in all, I was impressed with the preseason. Our offense, we had a lot of backups in. Like I said, there was those main ones I wanted to see. I wanted to see Deuce, Ferguson, Tolbert. They both impressed me. I wanted to see Simi. Simi did pretty good. He wasn't too bad. Lukey, I'm still excited about Lukey. He's quiet during camp. Never really heard about him doing anything or his name being brought up. And then yesterday he had some solid reps, not too much going on. But at the same time, I was still pretty. You could see that downhill power run of Lukey, but he needs development. He has to develop, and we expected that. But I'm hoping that there's a place for him on the team. I have a fear of putting him on the practice squad because I feel like somebody might go out and try and steal him. But I feel like we can develop him. He'll be really good for the future. So I'm really happy with what I saw in that Week 1 preseason game. Hopefully we keep trending this direction because it's got me really excited for the football season. I would argue that the Cowboys is one of the most athletic teams, and our defense is stacked. And I'm talking our 2s and our 3s are guys who can start on other teams. So it's something that gives us something to look forward to. And that's about all I got. Hey, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. Peace out.